emotional and verbal abuse is like parents just being like, oh, kids will be kids.
This was pretty serendipitous that it came up on my page because I don't know, it's been kind of on my heart and I've been thinking about talking about this. But I am a victim of sibling abuse. I think sibling narcissistic abuse. But that was such a feature of my childhood and really the core of like the real neglect of my childhood was that was my mother. She was a figure it out, don't bring it to me. This is not my business. You guys go deal with it. Kind of a mom. And I asked her about this like in adulthood because I never really understood why she never protected me. And she said it was because when she grew up, her mom was involved in everything. And like my grandmother was the queen of like passive aggressive triangulation. And so my mom always thought her mother's involvement like made everything worse. And so she decided to have a completely hands-off approach to me and my siblings' relationships, and it was just ours to figure out. And well, I'm not saying that can't work sometimes. I think most kids need to be modeled and demonstrated and shown how to do the conflict resolution and how to work it out in order for them to actually be able to like use those skills instead of just being like, hey, figure it out. For me, it was pretty impactful because I have a narcissistic sibling. She's a year older than me. And like we always shared a room. Like I never had space away from her. We were together all of the time. Yeah, we were just like never apart. And her joy was dysregulating me. And now I know I'm ADHD, but like that was her fun, would be to just, and this like carried into adulthood. So these aren't just like, oh, this is like foggy kid memories. Like this, I mean, I've been no contact with her for about 3 or 4 years, but like this continued until like 3 or 4 years ago when I stopped having contact with her. So like that was just her joy. Her joy has always been to dysregulate me. And of course, because she's my sister, she always knew exactly where to go. And then I was undiagnosed and again, never learned any skills. So it was just this really negative cycle where she would dysregulate me and then I would be punished for my reactions, like over and over and over again. And she was violent. She was growing up. She was always bigger than me. I was always a really skinny kid. Not anymore, but I was growing up. And so she was always bigger than me. And I mean, she used to just beat the shit out of me. And like my mom never said anything. And like, I remember because she used to do like taekwondo, I think. And it was just like a small instructor in her house. And I actually would go babysit while they taught class. And then she took the class and I babysat. And I remember we came to their house and I had like scratches on my face and I was bloody. I just remember she had like tackled me and was like punching me in the back of the head and stuff. But I had scratches and marks all over me. And I remember my parents never said anything or did anything. And I remember he asked me what happened, and I told him, honestly, not expecting anything to happen because nothing had ever happened. And he told her, and this was high school. Like I was in high school at this point. I was driving out there by myself. But anyway, he had told me at that point, or had told her that if she ever put hands on me again, she was never allowed in his class again because that wasn't the point of the class. And that I just remember that was like one of the first times, like in high school. I was probably a sophomore in high school that someone said like, "Hey, no, you can't actually do that to her." I think growing up, it was always, I deserved it. Like, I always got elevated to the point that I deserved it. Um, Sorry. Again, crying on TikTok. But yeah, anyway, that was kind of my experience kind of with my sister and that narcissistic sibling abuse. And, and then, but yeah, that's really what made it worse. And I think what even just made it possible was that my parents were just like, was the neglect from my parents. And that hands off of I'm not getting involved at all. And I mean, that continued until like that hands off approach, of not getting involved until, I don't know, I would say like 5 years ago, maybe. And, and my dad's talked to my sister. We were all getting together, and he had told me he had finally realized how she was just like picking at me all the time, and so he had told her, like, if you come, no picking on Corinne. So he told me like this, or he told her this time, if you come, no picking on Rin. And she got really, really mad at him, at my dad, and ended up not coming at all. And then, from my parents' perspective, like, she pretty much hasn't talked to my dad since then. And, from my parents' point of view, like, I owe them a great debt. That they sacrificed their relationship with her because they said something to her while we were both in our mid-30s. And, like, she's never gotten over it because, like, it only works when it's all my fault. Anyway, so that just really resonated with me. And I just, that hands off of, like, not getting involved is sometimes one of the most dangerous things you can do for your kids. Your kids need to be shown and taught and learn through example about how to have appropriate, like, conflict resolution and emotional regulation. And you can't do that if you're just hands off. If you're just neglect. It's just neglect. Anyway, I might delete this.